Hi everyone and welcome back. It's time for another Bundesliga and A-League review here with us on the ABCFC podcast. We've had a pretty good week probably less so for your teams and somewhat for my teams. I mean, brilliant in the A-League, but a bit meh again in the Bundesliga, wouldn't you say, Ben?
Most definitely. I mean, we sort of just almost finished our Thursday tea break episode, and I was talking about watching City at 5 o'clock on the Friday, and what a calamity of a game that was. And certainly, the result that victory had probably made it a little bit better, but from a Hamburg team sort of point of view, differing results, and you guys had an interesting result as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. We'll dive straight into this week's action then, and we'll start as we always do with that Friday night, Saturday morning this time, Bundesliga game, the last game of January, of course, as well. Köln with that narrow 1-0 win over Wolfsburg. I think Wolfsburg, I say this every week, obviously, I don't know what your view on this is, but for me, Wolfsburg, I mean, look, the gap is starting to open between the bottom two and the rest at least, but I think Wolfsburg are looking like they're still going to be in that conversation. Köln, after I was kind of giving them a little less credit over the last few weeks, I think that's a massive win for them. On the other hand, I think, winning a game of that magnet, winning a game against a team who's, down there and you don't want to get down there yourself as well, as a newly promoted side as well, I think that is a massive win for Köln and a big chance for them to just secure themselves safety, with weeks to spare rather than take it into the dying stages of the league. What would you say in regards to that?
I mean, looking at the table now, I would absolutely agree with that. I mean, when you're on, you don't sort of know what you're going to get with them at the moment. They're a point ahead, and then Eintracht on 27 points, Freiburg 27 as well in 7th. So, yeah, Köln's absolutely got that opportunity to sort of bank their survival, in, like you said, in weeks rather than in a couple of months when the whips are going to start cracking even more. So for them, I think it was a really good result. 1-0, pretty standard. But and as you said, from a Wolfsburg point of view, they're in trouble and they've been dragged right into that relegation fight.
They've been there all season. They sacked Simonis obviously before the winter break. I thought they were looking like they were coming of a little bit of a resurgence under Daniel Bauer when he first came in, but I think since the winter break, it's just gone the opposite direction again for them. Obviously, it didn't start the best for them when we beat them 8-1, and they kind of haven't gone, it's kind of just continued to tumble in a sense from them there. Miner got himself on the score sheet for the second time this season. He got the first one against us a few weeks ago, of course, but a much more important goal in the context for his team this time round, helping them get that win. I just think over the whole balance of play, Köln deserve the win. They've got. I mean, they've got some real quality in that team. You look at the likes. We've said it many times before, but he really is a very good young player, Said El-Mala. And if it's not this summer, if he keeps at this rate, eventually he's going to move to a bigger club, either in Germany or elsewhere in Europe. You would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I think so.
Most likely is the case with these young German players. They're most likely going to stay in the Bundesliga. But, I don't know what's going on with Wolfsburg. Just something's not right there.
Yeah.
And, it's far from over yet for them, but their form hasn't been convincing for most of this season.
Yeah. The one guy I'll point out from a Wolfsburg point of view, and after having a look at the highlights over the weekend, was Kamil Grabara.
Yeah.
He kept the game at 1-0 basically. Unfortunately they didn't win, but from some of the saves that I saw him make were superb, and he had a real part to play in the week before as well. Credit to him, but obviously it's not just the goalkeeper that's going to get results for them. Exactly. It's going to force a team effort. I mean, Eriksson as well.
There's just not enough from the forwards right now in this Wolfsburg team, and it was another game like that in this one. Daheem, he looked like he could be promising earlier this season. He's just not delivered what I would expect. There's nothing really that's clicking for them in a sense when they're going forward. Omura has been out of form as well recently. It's not helped them either. They need to basically sort something out. Look, the good thing for them is there's still teams beneath them that they could very well beat in the run-in. It's just, are they going to lose enough of their other games to get dragged into it and, feel more pressure that way? Because they're still clear right now, especially due to other results somewhat going their way this week. But they're teetering on the edge, is what I'd say, and they need to probably sort themselves out quickly before it gets too bad. As for Köln, look, I think, look, if they keep pulling off results like this, then there's no doubt in my mind they're going to stay deservedly. They're going to stay up deservedly, and I kind of expect them to pull off results like this because they've shown in the past this season already that they've got the team and the players capable of winning these games here and there to just keep themselves ticking over steadily. Really. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. They've been really impressive this season, and obviously the results are showing on the table.
Yeah. So from a team in Wolfsburg who just can't get anything right at the moment, we'll move to another team who can't do anything wrong at the moment. And we always allude to the fact that their fans must love us if they've been following this podcast, because they've probably had the best run of form in the league since we began this podcast outside of Bayern, I believe. The team we are talking about is Hoffenheim, who won again and scored 3 goals again. And now find themselves up and comfortably in 3rd place in this table now, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, fantastic.
Ilza's just done a ridiculous job and continues to do so. Like players like Kramaric, who got himself another brace, I believe, in this game.
Almost had a hat-trick as well. Just very,
Yeah, it's another one of these games where they recently have looked so on it. So ferocious, just absolutely just pushing their opponents back, fast interchanges of play, quick ball movement, and they just look so good when it clicks. And I dare say right now, over these last 2 weeks, the best team in the league, because I don't think Bayern have been on that mark these last few weeks. And I'll be honest, I am a little bit worried for our game against them next week, the way things currently are, that they could very well beat us comfortably. But we'll have to wait and see, obviously. But as things stand, it looks like that. But look, in this game, they got the job done in a matter of minutes, really, didn't they? Like, literally just in and around half-time, bang, 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 there you go, see you later. And Rani Khedira's consolation for Union really was just that. Hoffenheim dominant through most of this match. Union, really another disappointing game. They've had a couple of those in recent weeks, but I mean, look, they're not going to go down or anything, but it looks like when it looked like we thought they were really underdog sort of team, I think they're just middling and finding themselves out a bit now. But I mean, this is more about Hoffenheim really this week's review, because this is just another absolute brilliant performance from Hoffenheim, as they've been so
top
many
quality
this season.
Yeah, and Hoffenheim showing the way, and I mentioned Kramaric just before, but I mean, I guess if we sort of fast forward to what the end of the season might look like, I've got to say, I mean, they're a game and goal difference clear on Stuttgart. If they happen to finish 3rd or finish 4th, they won't look.
I've been wrong about some of these calls already so far this evening.
Yeah.
The season's not over, but right now, the way it's looking, I think
almost a lock.
I think Champions League football is looking like a shoo-in for them.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think they'd look out of place if that's where they do finish. They'll, thoroughly deserve their place. I mean, you're sort of saying they're a shoo-in. I'm sort of going the more tentative option. They've been a fantastic side this season, and really, as you said, since we started the podcast, they've been, the highlight. One of the highlights, but I guess it really just depends on if can Leipzig refine their groove. Stuttgart have been really sort of consistent, side throughout. But yeah, like I said, they won't look out of place if they do happen to clinch a Champions League spot for next season. And credit to them, they've been fantastic.
Exactly, well deserved. Speaking of Leipzig, they did suffer a big setback this week at the expense of a team that you certainly did not want to win that game, of course. But they have been in very good form since Urs Fischer's taken over, and they continue. They
certainly have, yeah.
Despite the injury to Hollerback early on, of course, they managed to group themselves together and win that game against Leipzig. I'm talking about Mainz, of course, for those viewers who aren't 100% sure, with the references I've dropped already. But yeah, excellent performance, a 2-1 win for Mainz. They've been really good as well recent weeks. Unlike Wolfsburg, they're someone with a new manager who've absolutely flourished. And, week by week are basically starting to assure themselves of safety as soon as they can. And as I said before, it's not a team you wanted winning, and they did just that, didn't they?
They did. And look, I agree with you in the fact that it's a matter of time before they cement their survival. And fair enough, and credit to them, because we talked about their really good run in Europe, and I guess that's maybe said it. And with the change in manager, with Urs Fischer coming on board and really transforming them. I think I said to you, we played them in the last game before the winter break, and it was a very sort of stagnant sort of game. But I could already see from there that they were probably going to have results like this. That's right, they did too, yeah.
Before that as well,
So the signs were definitely there, and yes, it's frustrating for my team because we're now 4 points away from them. But as I said, results to them, to the good, they're going to draw these other sides into that battle as well, while they're going to be able to eventually leapfrog, possibly into where, someone like an Augsburg or a Gladbach is at the moment, without any doubt. I mean, if they can continue this really good run of form, and well deserved getting these results as well, who knows where they might end up. But I think, like you said, I think it's going to be a case of safety sooner rather than later if the trajectory continues to go as it is. And from a Leipzig point of view, I can certainly speak on them because I got up Wednesday morning and watched that entire game against us, and I just don't think that they're running on all cylinders at the moment, and certainly they've got disciplinary issues. Ram's penalty was dumb, especially so late in the game.
And then gives away another one, of course, in very chaotic circumstances in this game as well. Just flying into the back of someone in the middle of the box. It's not what you would expect from someone of the quality that David Raum has.
No. And I certainly think, look, they can score. We've talked about them before. They've put 6 past multiple sides, but certainly I think they're in a situation now where they're looking over their shoulder perhaps a little bit, because you've got Leverkusen, who are a point behind, and it's like very similar goal difference. And they're going to start to worry, because if Freiburg and Eintracht start to get a bit of a move on and they don't get points,
Freiburg, but we'll get onto Frankfurt in the next game, but I don't think they're anywhere near it.
But I think certainly they want to start getting back to winning ways pretty soon.
Oh, they would, because they've dropped points against 2 teams in towards the bottom 3, and they've decided to slip back, and they are clearly going to be in and around and maybe struggling to get into Champions League football, obviously, which would not be good considering they missed Europe last season as well. So they want to rectify that. Obviously, great win for Mainz. Another great signing of them as well. I think getting Silas, I believe, on loan from Stuttgart's a brilliant signing to help them boost those survival chances and see how far up the table they can get. And look, Amiri's getting himself back involved among the goals again as well, which is always good for them. I felt like that bad run they were on prior to Christmas was probably a large part of it was due to him being completely out of form. Good win for Mainz. Leipzig with a big setback there. I just spoke about Frankfurt. That's where we're heading next. Where they, for I can't remember how many times, but for yet another game, since the resumption of the winter break, they have conceded 3 times. I think it's only one time in one game since the winter break in all competitions that they haven't conceded 3, and that was in the Champions League against Tottenham when they lost 2-0. So, I mean, it's like their defense is absolutely shocking at the moment. I mean, yes, they were playing Leverkusen, fair enough, but still, it's not one time they've conceded 3. It's not 2. It's not 3. It's not 4. It's practically almost every time this is happening right now for them, and it's just sending them further and further down the table, because they've lost their goal scoring impetus they had earlier in this season, and the defense is shambolic right now. They've
conceded 45 goals. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? So, just crazy for a like you said, a side that's been competing in Europe, and 45 to concede 45 goals, and we're
But it's not
like
just
literally
that.
at the beginning of February.
It's
Yeah,
literally every team they're playing right now in the Bundesliga is scoring 3 goals against them. It's just ridiculous. So, I mean, it's just shambolic. It really is. Like they've changed the goalkeeper. That's not really worked. The goal, I think his name's Santos. He doesn't. He looks about as bad. I'll just double check that actually. So, yeah, Santos shows our research over people. Yeah, Carlos Santos. He's looking no different to Zetera at this point. The defence in front of him is just absolutely all over the shop at the moment. And look, it was a very easy win for Leverkusen, and they needed a comfortable win to get themselves back into form, because of late they've slipped well outside the top 4, and for a team of their quality, you expect them to be well inside the top 4, especially at this stage of the season. So maybe this will be a springboard for them to push on, but who knows, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, they've got some important games coming up. They've got a cup quarter final against us. I think it's next week.
No, it's this week.
It is this week. Wait, was it this week or next? I'm clearly with the amount of games that I'm watching, losing track of. Yeah. Oh, right. Fair. That's going to be that'll be a fantastic
and
game.
I really want us to win this Pokal, because it's been a long time since we've done it, and since we last did it in 2020, we have not been that good in it. But anyway, this is not a Pokal review show.
Exactly. We'll get to that when it sort of happens. But yeah. I guess from a Leverkusen, they just keep on keeping on, and they're going to be hopeful of sort of trying to crack into that one of those Champions League spots.
It's not hopeful. Like they should be like one of the names front and centre in there, and they're just, this was a good chance for them, because it was a very comfortable win against a very currently poor Frankfurt side. And maybe it's a springboard for them to start moving forward now. They've got Gladbach next week. It's not going to be an easy game, but it's a game they should still be looking to win, and you'd expect they should win. So, I mean, it's just about how they can push on. And as for Frankfurt, I mean, I don't know where they're going to go from here. I mean, look, Union haven't been scoring many goals at home, but if they put 3 past them next week, it really is going to start looking terrible for Frankfurt. It's just week by week, they're sliding down that table. They're now 8th. They're still in the top half, but, that Union game is big, of course, because they're currently 3 points behind them, I've just seen. The goal difference is almost looking similar. It's, they're starting to slide into that zone they don't want to be.
Yeah, and there's other sides that we've talked about. Your Köln, your Augsburg. They're certainly capable of getting their own results in order. So it's a matter of sort of what are Eintracht going to do to, I guess, sort of arrest that, because like you said, they want to keep in touch with those European spots.
Yeah. Exactly that. So we'll move on to the next game, your game, of course. And after astonishingly beating us at home last week, Augsburg have continued their momentum under new management and won again, against you guys this time. And look, I'll be honest, it's weird for us to come out of you guys to come out of the game feeling that you should have won because you wasted chances, but watching the highlights, even I genuinely felt that you were the better side. You created the better chances, especially in the first half, I should say.
Definitely. And I totally agree with that.
It was so wasteful in front of goal.
Incredibly wasteful.
That were being missed. Look, Ricky J. Jones is a live wire, but he's got no end product. I mean, there was that cross, I believe, across the box for one of the chances where, he was kind of stumbling over and shouldered the ball goalwards in the end. The lack of composure there is just astonishing.
And getting those final balls in hasn't been our strong suit for the season. It sort of looks like we're maybe just starting to get that right. And like you said, it's guys like Joe. Look, I think he's been a really good addition to us off the bench. And he's got the record at the moment for the quickest player in the competition, which says something for a second from bottom side at the moment. But this isn't. I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here, so just bear with me. This isn't League 1, League 2 in England, right? This is the Bundesliga. This is the biggest competition in Germany. You've really got to earn your stripes in this division, because if you don't, you get found out. And we've already seen from other results, including this one. The Pauli is starting to get cut adrift from the pack, just outside the relegation zone. It's not a good spot for us to be in. Having said that, though, and I watched most of this game on Sunday morning, we are starting to get those sort of glimmers of hope. Good balls into the box, and I think Sanani had a shot missed, a fantastic save from Finn
It
Darman.
was, but that was another shocking miss in my opinion.
Yeah, he should
About
have hammered it
2 yards
home.
out, it's like,
Yeah.
it's still a
Yeah.
bad miss. Like,
Yeah, the penalty was absolutely there and was a bit silly from I can't remember who it was that gave that conceded it, but let me have a look here. Marius Wolf, yeah, just dumb. Like, you know, we talked about Jones giving away a penalty against Dortmund at the end a few weeks ago. This was sort of similar. It just didn't need to happen. Senani thankfully put it home, and it was a well-deserved opener. We did deserve that lead. The funny thing for me was, and actually looking back on this game today, was the commentator was just saying, Augsburg looking dangerous. Gregorich was in the action. He scored us basically from the corner that they were just setting up. So the very next moment, Augsburg equalised. And look, disappointing.
Well.
It was, but Eric Smith on the replay, probably could have done a little bit better. I mean, Vasil knew nothing about it. Came off his hip, I think. Yeah. But that was okay because I sort of thought, we're even. That's probably where things all should have ended up because Augsburg were going to score at some point. The second goal, Gregorich again. That was a quality finish. I'm not going to. Yeah, and like I said to you just before we came on air, it wasn't one of those sort of goals where we got sort of ripped apart through the midfield. It was a really nicely timed ball, and he is a quality player. He played a handful of games with us a few seasons ago. He played at Hamburg. He was at Augsburg before that. Yeah, he's a quality finisher, no doubt about it.
He's probably going to be at the World Cup potentially with Austria as well. So, Mikhail Gregorich has been around a long time. He's a seasoned striker. He knows what he's doing. Something you're missing really right now in this team of your seasoned striker.
And I guess just on that, I mean, I'll sort of just briefly talk about that. We've had a couple of additions that I think have been really good. Tomoya Ando, the Japanese defender, he's been fantastic since coming in. Matthias Rasmussen, who was actually at Union Saint-Gilloise, I hope I pronounced that correctly for our Belgian viewers. Gilloise, yep. Blessing's old side, he's just come. It was his first start, I think, for us on the weekend. Sands has been serviceable. Pirka, Fajita again, Senani, Saliakas has come back. Hopefully Irvine will start to get more minutes now that he's sort of come off the bench again, because I think we sort of need that experience. But what I really hope we have in the back pocket, and we've got another Japanese guy that we've just signed over the weekend, is a striker. I don't care where they get him from, but we need a proven finisher. The longer that we go through these games and every week that we talk about, we've had these half chances and we can't finish. I mean, Jones had a shot that should have been off his head, off his shoulder, for Christ's sake. And it's just really, it's really starting to piss me off because, we're a side that did really well defensively last season and we scored the goals that we needed to stay up. We're just not getting that this season, and we're at a stage now whereas we talked about Mainz and these other teams before, and there's a few that we haven't talked about yet, they're starting to get points and they're starting to pull away.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, how long is it going to take for Heidenheim to click again while we just
Heidenheim's not
can't finish?
The thing is, Heidenheim's not who you should be worrying about now, because there's two teams go down, one goes into the playoff. Really,
that's right.
The ones you need to worry about are teams who are just above you at the moment. And even in the case, I think Mainz are just going to keep going up and up and up. I think more, you're looking at Wolfsburg, you're looking at Bremen, those teams.
Hamburg even, potentially,
Hamburg is still potentially there.
Sorry, Hamburg fans. But I think it's, like you were saying before, just to put a full stop on this one, it did sort of look like we're starting to get things together, and it's taken a few games. Even that midweek Leipzig game last week, we looked like we started to click, and we're starting to build that confidence. It's just it's at the time now. However it's done, I don't care.
Yeah, see,
we've got to start scoring goals.
I can tell with the tone of your voice shifting, because I remember last season you were quite placid about it, first season back, and there wasn't really any point really through most of last season where you felt you were in danger of going down. I can tell now that you're starting to get worried that you could, in fact,
I'm
go down.
genuinely concerned. If we don't start scoring goals, and the defensive side of things is okay. We are going to get goals scored against us most weeks, but I think I said it a few weeks ago, and we did that. We did this against Leipzig. We've got to turn those games that might be losses into draws, and we've absolutely got to turn games like this, where we've had the advantage and we've been the better side for most of it, into wins. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it is. It's football
Clock's
at the
ticking.
end of the day, yeah. We'll move on then, of course, to a much more duller affair, in my opinion. A team who were hovering in and around just above you at the moment. Werder Bremen drew 1-1 with Gladbach. Tabakovic scored again for Gladbach. I mean, what a striker. I mean, if you had a player to striker the quality of him, let's just say, right? But I think the biggest talking point from this game was how it ended, and what a fucking goal it was from Kiki Top. The player who's basically not delivered anywhere near enough the amount of goals Bremen fans would have wanted so far. Off the bench again, with an absolute worldie to give his side a point in the end, in the 94th minute of the game. Like, what a goal it was. Not much else to talk about the game. You know, it's a very kind of even affair. When Gladbach went in front, I thought maybe they were just going to have enough to hold on, because Bremen have not been in good form at all recently. But yeah, I mean, take nothing away from that phenomenal equaliser, and at the stage of the game in which it was scored as well. Just I mean, look, top quality from Kiki Top. But look, the fact of the matter though still is Bremen are nowhere near out of that conversation of
and just to
stuff like that.
I was just gonna say. Based on the highlights that I saw over the weekend, they've actually changed. It's going to be under new management as well. The manager's gone, so Stefan Horst has been relieved of his duties. So I guess that's what happens when you don't sort of get results. And as we know, it's a brutal game, especially in this league as well. You've really got to sort of step up to the plate. And so yeah, I guess it's a case if it's not the first manager to be let go mid-season, and we've seen what's happened with Mainz, and I think Frankfurt, they've got their new manager coming in as well. Yep.
Ironically,
Frankfurt's new boss is starting next week, I think I heard as well. So
there we go.
So what's that going to mean for them now? We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, in terms of the game though, look, just quality finish from Top. That was a brilliant goal, and Tabakovic just doing what he's done in parts during the season. He's a quality striker, and he's shown again. In this game with another quality finish.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's really all we can say about that game, really. So we'll just, apologize, man, there was not much else happened in that game, but we'll move on to a game where my team, for the second week running, flattered to deceive. Obviously, much to you as a St. Pauli fan's annoyance of Hamburg managing to come away with a point against us at home. Obviously, I wouldn't say they're out of the relegation conversation yet themselves, but they've
had some good results at home. So they were strong against us.
But just like Augsburg last week, Hamburg played the same way, and I'm worried now that teams might be watching and start clicking to this. I know, obviously, as Bayern, you're going to expect to come up against teams who sit deep and put men behind the ball. It's not an excuse. For years and years and years we've been facing that, and for years and years and years we've been dominating the league. I'm not making excuses for it. I'm not making excuses in general. What annoys me is that this team just look uninterested half of the games right now. Like the second half against Augsburg, it looked like we were just trying to hold on to 1-0. Through most of this game, it looked like we were just trying to settle for a goal. We did get two in the end. Like there was that kind of little burst we had at the beginning of the second half in which Diaz scored, and I thought, okay, that looks more like Bayern of the last, prior to the Augsburg game. Maybe we are going to kick on and win 4-1 or something, but no, it just didn't happen. And, much credit to Hamburg, just like Augsburg, they held in there. I mean, they didn't win, but they got a deserved point, I think. Like, look, Luka Vuskovic is one hell of a talent. And Tottenham fans,
quality.
if they're not watching... Tottenham fans, if you're not watching Bundesliga football, get ready, because this kid is going to bring some good defensive qualities when he returns to your team next season. If you don't loan him out, or God knows, even potentially let go of him, but that would be awful, that decision.
I was...
Look, I'm not saying, woe is me, Bayern, like, we're probably still going to win the league, but look, Dortmund is 6 points off us right now. We play Hoffenheim next week, who are unbelievably good right now. The Der Klassiker comes up in the next month or so as well. So, look, it's not so far out of the picture that, by the time we play Dortmund, we could be like almost neck and neck with them if things continue to go like they have for us. So,
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, we got Leipzig midweek. We have to win that. We have to go and win the DFB Pokal because it's been way too long where we haven't done well enough in that competition. And then no excuses. I don't care how good Hoffenheim have been in recent weeks. We are still Bayern. We have more than enough capability of going out there and beating them 5-1. And that's not it. And that wouldn't even come across as a shock, really. Not to sound cocky about the team, but that's the truth, really. And I just think these last two games should be the exception and not the rule from here on out. We've had our two games where the players have, looked a bit tired, looked a bit disinterested at times, right? Finish the season now strong like we started it.
Yeah, get back to business.
By April or whatever, the standard Bayern way. Don't take this to the final day like we did a few seasons ago. And had that really nervy title win, but dramatic title win on the last day over Dortmund. But yeah, look, great point for Hamburg. Give credit where credit's due, but Bayern, you really need to sort this out because this is not acceptable from a club of this standard to play like this. It's not so much the result, it's the performance really which is bothering me right now.
Well, I think just sort of my 2 cents on this particular game, I think it really shows the ability and the capability of any team on their day to take it up to the big boys. We've seen on multiple occasions lower sides, even like with that Augsburg game last week, that can take it up to sides like Bayern and Dortmund. I mean, Dortmund have sort of wobbled a bit as well, and we'll get to their game as we go along. But this is probably another example of that. I mean, credit to Hamburg, and they've been, I just said before, they've been really good at home this year. And as for Vuskovic, I mean, if the other Hamburg team do stay up and Spurs are feeling generous, won't begrudge them loaning him out to them next season. Just saying, putting it out there, Spurs. But we don't know what help we can get. Hey, he scores goals. That's good enough for me. So, but I think from a Bayern point of view, they've had their sort of troubles over the last fortnight. I think you're right. I think they sort of need to start getting back to business and sort of flexing that muscle now, even if it is against Hoffenheim and putting them away, and then the Pokal against Leipzig. If they want to get serious about winning more silverware, it's got to start from the next start again. No, I'm not saying that, but I mean,
team. Like, we just win.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you're known for winning titles, and at the moment, you're sort of in a little bit of a
miniature
blip,
I'd say.
Miniature blip, a bit of a speed bump,
one loss, one draw, but it's more the performances which are concerning me.
Not the usual Bayern standards.
We'll move on to a team who have once again managed to get themselves on the winning train. That's Stuttgart. They did it quite narrowly over Freiburg, but look, that's Freiburg and no mugs. They're not they're a well organised team when they want to be. They don't just roll over like Frankfurt. But look, credit to Stuttgart. They won without Dennis Undav scoring. I mean, there's something for you, right? He did get the assist, or fairness, and to be fair, Demirovic scored an absolute worldie as well. And it was very
brilliant.
late on as well. But look, not much else to say about this game again, really, apart from the fact that Stuttgart largely dominated most of the game. Undav definitely should have scored in the first half when they were trying to play out from the back Freiburg, and they just made a right hash of it. Manzambi played it short to Atabolu, and they tried to play it out, and they just kind of got caught, and then really Undav should have put it away. But the goal was unbelievable, and really Freiburg didn't create too much of note to worry Alexander Nubel and Stuttgart that much. So it's just really a comfortable win for Stuttgart, and it definitely keeps them in that Champions League conversation. I still think Freiburg are going to be in the European conversation, though. This defeat doesn't really change much there. They played a team who were just better than them, essentially. Not much more I can really add about this game, really, because they're not an awful
Nubel I thought was great and sort of really helped his side, but I think
you talk. Really, did he?
No. Well, there you go. Yeah, but I guess the talking point, like you said, from Freiburg is they're 8 points behind Leverkusen now, and I guess as the weeks go by, does that shorten, and that's going to be a really interesting watch, I think, between now and the end of the season, as to where they actually finish, especially with Eintracht sort of just sort of not being able to concede, or they're conceding too many at the moment. But yeah, they're really good. They're going to be a really good watch, I think, and Stuttgart just doing what Stuttgart are doing, and Dennis Undav not scoring is a bit of a surprise, but the goal from Demirovic was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
quality finish.
Goal. So for the last game, of course, of this week, Dortmund, after seeing we drop more points, went right ahead. Although to give credit Heidenheim, they did give it a good go, and they did make them sweat a bit. But I mean, Dortmund and Guirassy just too classy in the end, really, for Heidenheim, coming out with the 3-2 win in the end. But yeah, as I said, look, they took the lead early on. They took the lead first up, Dortmund. But Heidenheim fought back, got themselves 2-1 in front, and it was really just Guirassy's impact that ended up getting Dortmund to within 6 points of Bayern now. And they still look strong. I mean, Dortmund have only lost once this season still, and that was against us. And we play them again soon in a month or so. Look, we're talking about good goals. I know there was a slight deflection on it, but you didn't. I can never pronounce his name.
Nihus.
Second goal early in the second half was pretty good. But yeah, I mean, look.
Yeah.
It's another one of those games where Heidenheim have shown a good account of themselves, but lost out due to just lack of overall quality on the pitch. And at this point, they're a point adrift at the bottom. They're 5 points adrift to that playoff spot now. It's starting to look like the gig might be up for Heidenheim, sadly. Which, look, if it is, they've had three very well accountable seasons that they can claim back to back in the Bundesliga. Of course, getting European football in their first season was unbelievable, and it just kind of hasn't evolved since then, which is fair enough. A club with less money, less infrastructure, it's always going to be an uphill battle. No disrespect to them, but look, going back to this game though, Dortmund once again just showing their class, and look, they're showing that they're still in this title race, depending on how Bayern go over the next couple of months, right? So
definitely, yeah. I was just going to say, look, I thought Guirassy was superb, but I will say, I think late on we may have seen the worst penalty miss of the season. Perhaps he got a bit too cute and just fired it over the bar. Even a goal on top of the goal wouldn't have helped him. It was that bad. But so he missed out on a hat trick. But look, I think Dortmund have had a few sort of lucky escapes this season against sort of lower oppositions. I mean, definitely against us, and probably here they just sort of did what they needed to do, as good as Heidenheim were. And on another day, that probably looks like a better result for Heidenheim, no doubt. But I think Dortmund are going to want to keep the foot on the throat of Bayern at the moment to keep them on their toes in that race for the title.
Yeah. Exactly that. So that wraps up the Bundesliga action, of course, for another week. We're going to move on to the A-League. But first, if you guys have made it this far through the video, don't forget to give us a good like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, tweet, anything. Do anything that shows you're interacting with the channel. Become part of the community. What did I give the name to it again the other day? I've already forgotten.
ABCFC squad?
No, it wasn't that. It was something else.
No.
I can't remember what it was. It was something quite clever, but I can't remember what it was. But never mind. Yeah, just give the video a like, give us a follow and a subscribe and all that good stuff, people. We'll move on to the A-League portion. And what a great place to start. Remembering those of you who watched last week's video, I was giving a good old rant over the state and the quality of the league and how bad it had gotten in recent years. Well, I mean, look, it only took about a half and a few minutes of football and like one half and a bit of football to begin this week to continue to prove my point. I mean, we're talking about Ben's team here getting a 2-2 draw up at the old Cape Inn in Wellington, but 3 goals were absolutely diabolically shite in terms of the defending.
Yep.
Just crap with a capital C. 3 goals. We talk about the first one first, because this week we have to talk about goals. I don't want to talk about goals in every game, because people watch the games, they want to just hear insight. But this is a game which deserves mention to at least 3 of the goals. We'll start with the first one. Eze putting Wellington 1 up. Just what on earth was Patrick Beach doing
I
that
don't
early
know.
in the game, just flying outside his box for a bouncing ball where was it two of your defenders were running at it as well at the same time?
Yeah. Yep.
And they just kind of all tangle up and the ball bounces free. Eze has the simplest goal he'll ever score and puts his side 1-0 up. And,
Yeah.
off the back of some pretty average defending in your defeat last week against MacArthur, you start within a couple of minutes with some really, really average defending in this
Hadn't learnt at all from the previous week, and you know my thoughts on that particular game. But just Beach, and I think I might have mentioned to you during that game off air, just diabolical. I mean, as a former goalkeeper in a past life myself, you need to be more aware than that in terms of where you are. If you are planning to come out, and Eze, dare I say, it was the Eziest goal he's probably ever likely to score.
That's about as crap as the defending in that game.
Yeah, it was, but I'll take that. But yeah, I mean that was sort of not the way to start the weekend, but certainly look, not a great game overall, really. And I guess looking at Marcus Yunus had a similar chance.
In all fairness to Eze, he got a second, which was much higher quality in that game. But then the other two goals we'll talk about is how Wellington, from a 2-0 lead, let you guys back into the game with two absolutely shambolic bits of defending themselves for both of your goals. Like the pass out for the first one was intercepted. It's just all over the place. There's no defenders. The keeper's scrambling. It's just an absolute mess. It's just such a bad advertisement, like a poor advertisement for... It's just such a poor advertisement for the league. And I'm looking at this right now on Bing and looking at the A-League scores. One makes more than a bad advertisement. If you go and check this yourself, Ben, you'll see there's 2-2. Eze, 23rd minute, 52nd minute, and then Melbourne City 2. Mehmeti, 77th minute, and then nothing else. And if you scroll down, it says 73rd minute, goal Melbourne City, but apparently no one scored for you. So, sorry people, you would have had to watch it to find out what on earth happened there.
But I think from a City point of view, I mean, the guy that I'll give props to is Marcus Yunus. He's come in on loan.
That goal, of course,
he's come in and made an instant impact, which is really good from a City point of view, because I was certainly starting to wonder, especially after that MacArthur game, where things were going to turn. And yes, it wasn't the best game to watch. I watched it go Friday evening.
For the blooper reel, it's a brilliant game of football it was. You had 3 goals of just comical defending, right?
Bit like FIFA, like you got your goalkeeper mode sort of just coming out halfway down the pitch, and the ball just fell to him and he put it away. But it's another game where Wellington have had a lead, and a decent lead and well-earned lead, and conceded. But City probably lucky to get a point out of this game.
100%.
Back-to-back defeats wouldn't have... Yeah, exactly. Back-to-back defeats wouldn't have looked so good, and luckily they've got Wanderers. I'll say luckily because we did play them, I think it was last season, and I do remember you were certain that we were actually going to beat them at home, and they ended up beating us. So I go into next week's game with not a whole lot of confidence, and the funny thing is we've got a derby, I think, the week after. Or maybe the week after that, sorry.
Playing the week after, which is weird, like...
I think,
So you've
maybe
got that game on the 7th,
break,
on the 14th, or the 5th, like, you're not playing. And then on the 21st, you have the derby, which, of course, you're going to, I imagine.
That's true. Yeah, it's a home derby, so I'll be there. So plenty of content there. But after that, we don't have another game for over a month at home.
Yeah.
And then I think 4 out of the last 5 to finish the season.
Not that it makes any difference, because your home form recently this season has been garbage.
No, and you're right. But I guess if we've got any ambition, and you've heard me say, Chester, that I don't think we're good enough to play finals, and maybe, hopefully, if we keep getting points, that'll change. But I just think this away form now is so crucial for us to start sort of making that climb towards the top 4, hopefully. But we don't know. We're just going to have to find out, because there's other teams that are playing a lot better at the moment, and I guess that's probably a good segue into the next game, because I'm done talking about City. It's just, yeah.
Look, the next game was a bit much of a non-event again. Not much happened in it between Adelaide and MacArthur, drawing 1-1. Really one of those kind of non-event games. Adelaide have been a weird team this season. They've either looked amazing at times, or they've looked absolutely terrible. Funnily enough, likewise with MacArthur, or many teams in the league. this season, and it almost felt like this game was just a game where it was always going to be the case where both sides would end up cancelling each other out, and that's basically exactly what happened in the end. Really not much to really comment on from this game of a point of view. Didn't really get much from it. Adelaide, they had a good win against Brisbane last week, of course, for that hat-trick, of course, from old Brody Burkett, or whatever his name is, that young kid. Didn't get on the score sheet today. It was another one of their many young kids they have. Johnny Yull, who got himself on the score sheet, and an old guard got himself on the score sheet for Macarthur.
Chris Economides, yeah.
The guy who turns up for a club for a season, plays 4 games, gets injured, and never plays again, and moves to another club to do the exact same thing.
But not only that. I mean, I'm just no, you're definitely not. But I'm just having a look at some of the stats here. The match official, the referee. I've never heard of this guy before. He must be new. Nathan Shakespeare. Clearly, the game didn't go quite to script for either of these sides. I guess with a name like that, that's just fantastic. So I couldn't resist, folks. Drop us a comment if you like that one, or if you don't. Always great to hear from you guys. But yeah, United, they've had sort of up and down form at home, and I guess they probably would have been disappointed not to take all 3 points at Coopers, Fortress Coopers as I call it, but not so much this season. And Economides, just household name, I guess, in this competition. Another goal to add to his tally. Yeah,
been everywhere. Moving on then to the one team right now in the league who I actually think want to win the league. It's Newcastle. They've won 5 games in a row for the first time in their history in the A-League.
Yeah. 12,000 there as well at McDonald Jones. That's a fantastic crowd, and if they keep playing like this, they're going to get plenty more through the through the gates.
Scoring goals for fun, and they look absolutely ruthless. Brisbane have absolutely started to fall off a cliff in recent weeks, so maybe all of a sudden our 11th place prediction for them actually might end up being true, when it looked like they were going to challenge for the title a couple of weeks ago. But that's what the ridiculousness of the league has been like this season. The manager's son got himself on the score sheet for Brisbane. I don't know if you saw that.
I did certainly see that. I mean, it was a
consolation though amongst an absolutely blistering Newcastle performance. Lockie Bayliss got himself a brace for the first time in the A-League. Lockie Rose got himself another goal. Clayton Taylor got himself another goal. It was another one of those games where everything's just clicking for Newcastle like it has been in recent weeks, and they look absolutely supreme right now. Where any other team recently this season has been up at the top of the table and just struggled to get any consistency up, Newcastle are doing it. And look, I want Sydney to win the league, obviously, but look, outside of us winning the league, I just want a team other than Victory Mariners and City and Wanderers and Adelaide. I'm not really a big fan of them as well, and Macarthur. So most of the teams, look, I don't hate Newcastle. Doesn't leave
too many choices, mate. But
Newcastle, well done to Newcastle. Absolutely blew Brisbane out of the park. They just look that attack of theirs just looks so good when it gets going. They move up the field with pace. Eli Adams has been sensational again this season. Gone to another level, really. Even though he hasn't got himself on the score sheet every week, he's just been so instrumental in moving that ball forward through the first. Clayton Taylor has been one of the best attacking midfielders or attacking role players in the league this season. Lockie Rose has been one of the best centre forward. They've just got and they're all young for the most part. They're doing this without a lot of experience in the team. And they're just so good right now, and full credit to Mark because he's doing an exceptional job right now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say exactly the same thing on Milligan. I don't have a hat on, but I dip my hat to him. But I think 2 things from me. Lockie Rose, I'll absolutely echo that because I saw him live maybe a month ago, maybe not even that, at home against us, and they beat us because of him. He's been a quality player for them, but I think the credit to them goes as well in their resilience. I mean, we talked about on this very channel and this very podcast about they won the Australia Cup and they started really well and then they sort of fell away, and a lot of teams, as we see now, have done the same. So that's okay, but they've really impressed me with how well they've bounced back and games like this where they can just now put sides away clinically is really a credit to them. And look, hopefully, when we talk about, towards the end of April, what the finals setup is going to look like, hopefully they, can finish sort of in the, well, definitely top four, but who knows how much higher they'll end up finishing, especially with these other sides not being able to get the job done. And there's a few games in this round that's happened. So, yeah.
Yeah. On to the next game of Saturday night. Who we had 1-4-1 earlier on Saturday. It was followed up by another 4-1 and four goals in a Sydney game this time, which I was thoroughly pleased with as opposed to last week's horror show on Australia Day. Returning for the Sydney derby and absolutely handing it to Wanderers again. That is in fact the third season in a row which we have put 4 past them in a game at Allianz. So good on us there, Sydney. Absolutely send them packing. And the funniest thing was, I was absolutely pissed off after a minute when Ryan Fraser took the
40 seconds, was it?
40
Yeah.
seconds when Ryan Fraser cut inside and bent it brilliantly past Devon Ishmaels to put them in front.
Yeah.
Because at that point I was like, fucking hell, that's 7 goals without reply in our last 3 games. This here we go again. But then look, we only got back in the game thanks to one man, and he is the greatest goalkeeper. We'll just take a minute. This man is by far the greatest goalkeeper, I think, in A-League history, would you say? He's been so
Not far off.
He's been so instrumental. He helped Victory win a championship in 2018. He's helped them do other things.
Sydney win a derby in 2026.
He's helped Wanderers win derbies. He's helped them win big games. He's helped Victory win big games. All of that. And
very generous individual. Yeah.
Sydney FC on January 31st, 2026, back into a derby when they desperately needed to get back into form.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lawrence Thomas. You are amazing.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, although I'm still going to take the joke here, for anyone who saw this, and I know you agree with me, Ben, I think that has to go down as the worst attempted save possibly in A-League history.
Yeah.
The shot from Campuzano is so fucking piss weak. I cannot believe that ended up rolling into the back of the net. And the funniest thing is I had the commentary, Andy Harper on the co-commentary, old Harps, literally turning around in the co-commentary saying he thought that was great composure on the finish from Campuzano. Composure. He fucking powder puffed the ball down right at the keeper's feet. And the keeper somehow
rolled through his legs.
Fumbled the slowest shot in football, or A-League history, through his fucking legs and across the line. And he wasn't like on the goal line. He was literally like a couple of meters in front, and then it was even better watching it just slowly trickle across the line as the Wanderers' defence were helpless to get there in time because they were too far back. Look, and that was about Akol Lacan, 16 years old. That assist was mint. That ball to Campuzano was just so good, and I'm so thankful that Lawrence Thomas did that shit to mean there was in fact a goal on the end of it, because Campuzano didn't help himself. Look, from that point on, Wanderers had their share of trying to get forward, but second half began at 1-1. Wasn't long from the corner. Lawrence Thomas once again helping us, fumbling a ball he probably should have done more with. Got a bit of a scramble in the box. Tisserand pokes it home from close range. And then, to make it even better, old big mouth, Anthony Pantazopoulos giving it all that in the lead up to the derby after he helped them win the game earlier this season in the derby, saying, we don't have the mentality, they have to fight for it, we don't know what we're doing. Look, talk the fucking talk, but don't walk the walk. That's fine by me, mate, because at the end of the day, we just patterned you guys up 4-1. Right? So you can't say that shit before midweek and then lose 4-1 and not expect to get it. And the best part was the third goal when Quintal shot it, the deflection off him. He'd swinging the leg out, doing his best Zach Crawley Ashes impression, just nicking it behind, although in this case the keeper didn't catch it. It nestled itself in the far bottom corner of the net, and then to make it even better, Quintal has another shot, another big deflection off a Wanderers player, back of the net, 4-1, job done. So it's pretty funny. Look, we scored 4 goals, but one of them was a massive error from the goalkeeper. Another was from a corner where the keeper should have done better from, and then the other 2 were 2 deflected shots that found their way into the back of the net. So look, I'll take them anywhere we can. And look, talking more about the game and performance in general, thank you, Tale. I don't know if you listened to this podcast. If you did, don't forget to give us a like and follow and subscribe because we'll offer you more coaching advice. But he played Quintal in the 10 and he was absolutely amazing. Thiago Quintal got 2 goals as well, of course, both deflected, I know, but they were still technically his goal because both shots were on target for his efforts. And he just played really well, and Sydney just had a much better performance. And the best part of all, Joe Lolly is fit again. I'm so thankful that we got a player of quality back. The next one we need back is Toure now, but at least Lolly's back, and hopefully he can stay fit now. So yeah, look, good win for Sydney. Wanderers are still adrift at the bottom of the table. It's all good in the hood. Not the hood, really, but it's all good. It's all good, isn't it? Look, before we I've been going on and banging on a bit long. We've still got 2 more games to cover. Did you have anything to add to that game?
Yeah, I certainly do. And look, I think for this one, it was certainly one of the games of the week for mine, and the next one is also in that category. But from a Wanderers point of view, look, hopefully things don't change too quickly for them because we played them on the weekend coming up, and I certainly want us to start getting some results. So, Lawrence Thomas, don't go too hard this week if you're on your keeping practice. I mean, just if you're still feeling generous next weekend, that'd be superb, mate. But look, Sydney, getting back into winning ways and just continuing on, and we've talked about a number of sides that. Are they serious about just sort of wanting to win the title? And I think Sydney are sort of putting their flag sort of back in the ground, and again with Newcastle as well.
Yeah. Look, we're back in the conversation now, but we were like that a couple of weeks and a bad run of form. Yeah. We play Auckland next, so it's a big game for us.
Speaking of Auckland,
we play them twice in the next couple of weeks, so. With a game against Adelaide at home in between. So, look, it's far from over, but at the same time, look, it's great to put 4-1, but, I mean, look, all 4 goals had a massive hand from the other team in some manner. So, look, it's not like we absolutely passed them out the field and just, we won comfortably, but we did get...
Yeah, you're going to want to set them up and score them on... Yeah.
Look,
but I think, but I was just going to say... Yeah, there's a few teams that are sort of starting to look like they're genuine about winning the comp. The next game, in terms of, I don't know if that sort of is the case with one of the next teams we're going to talk about, because they've got some issues. Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah,
Auckland are in all sorts right now. I mean, look, and I hope that continues when we play them twice in the next couple of weeks, and we can get some good points and wins potentially against them. Because they've not been in great form right now. And even though they took the lead against Perth, the comeback was brilliant. And Jaden Kucharski, I mean, obviously he's a Sydney fan.
What a goal.
I'm always going to back this man as a Sydney fan.
What a goal.
But what a way to win the game. What a fucking hit.
Yeah.
That was just unbelievable, that was.
The roof almost blown off the shed there. It's an pretty old shed.
Yeah.
Been there since the NSL days, but... What a time to do it, and just quality to them. They never stop fighting, and to win it in the 88th minute or whatever it was in that fashion with an absolute screamer, just superb. And it's credit to them. They've had a bit of a couple of games where it hasn't gone well for them, but to bounce back and Griffith, my thoughts on him and his what he's been able to do at Griffiths, what he's been able to do, and I think it's more a case of Auckland, dropping points, the distance derby. And probably not getting the result they would have gone in hoping for, but all credit to Perth in this one, I thought.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very good performance from Perth. Auckland need to sort something out. Jesse Randall got himself on the score sheet again, timely with the fact that he's off to Scotland in the summer. Another young, talented player is going to be leaving the competition, and people are wondering why I'm saying there's a lack of quality season in, season out, because we keep losing talent. I mean, look, I'm not saying they shouldn't move overseas, but it's happening with alarming regularity now because the league is such a poor quality. The players have no desire to stay here, and fair credit to them. They want to advance their careers, obviously, right? But moving on to the last game of the round, it was another pretty tame game, but look, for both of us, it was a fantastic result because Mariners, who had their backs to the wall through most of the game. In the theme of this league this season, victory look amazing against, well, not amazing, but victory comfortably beat us, and then, go over to Blue Tongue, dominate the game, and lose to a Wander goal.
Yeah, what a different 6 days, mate. Yeah. Really, that's that's sort of the moral of the story here. Look, I was pretty pleased with this result, as you can imagine. But I did watch most of the Big Blue, and I thought they were pretty good.
Because the goal was quality. And Ali Alba, I think he's a new signing of theirs. Just the way the way he just bent it around Wachowski was just so good. And it's just so good to see Victory dominate a game but lose. I mean, look, it would have been better if Mariners dominated and won 7-0, obviously. But look, we'll take them losing, and you will especially.
Oh, definitely. I think Juan Mata may have spent too much time at Rod Laver Arena watching the Aussie Open.
Juan Mata's had a season at Wanderers. Now he's having a season at Victory. He's going to finally realise in the summer he wants to play with a good team, and he's going to come to Sydney. My man.
We'll have to wait and see what's on the grapevine for that one. But but look, credit to Mariners. I mean, they, I do like seeing them do well. I mean, even though they beat us comprehensively in a grand final a few years ago. But look, it's good for the league. I think, especially when you've got a big side like Victory, who they've got that level of entitlement, and certainly. With a derby coming up in the next few weeks, I will say that I'll start lighting the fire now. But they were great, and they richly deserve this win at home.
Yeah, big win for them as well. Keeps Wanderers bottom as well, so they not only beat Victory, but they also keep Wanderers at the bottom, and our win against them obviously helped that. But look, that wraps up another good old week of football. Not so good for Bayern, fantastic for Sydney, and also, just on a side note, there's 3 in a row for Michael Carrick and Manchester United with that win this morning against Fulham. Tottenham, you're next. And Frank, you're getting your hair cut soon. Trust me, it's going to happen. We've done 3. We beat Tottenham next week, it's 4. And then before the international break, if we can just go win away at West Ham, mate, you can get your hair cut, and I want them to do it on the Old Trafford pitch, because that'll be a spectacle and a half. But anyway, look, less said about your other team, the Baggies, who are slipping closer and closer to that relegation zone.
Sorry, who? I was going to say I've never heard of them. What's they knew it yet. But look, they're probably one of the sides out of the several that I support overall that I'm keeping the least eye on. I mean, you've got, I mentioned to you on the weekend, South East Melbourne Phoenix. They're now equal second, but they're third in the NBL, coming up to finals at the end of the month. That's when that starts, and they're doing pretty well. Back at John Cain Arena on Sunday after the tennis. I'm looking forward to getting back to them.
It's pre-season for the AFL, so right now Saints are the best team in the country, according to you.
Always every year at this time of year, but we'll get to that sort of in the coming.
In around, I don't know, let's say about May or June, and then he'll probably have a completely opposite view on how Saints are.
You'll be able to tell by my tone in the content that I'll be bringing you guys how well I'm doing. But I mean, I guess. Look, it's been a really good week of results in Germany, and obviously here as well in the A-League. But we've certainly got some great content coming up. We've got obviously the T20 Cricket World Cup is starting on Saturday, and we've got a preview coming up.
Thursday, for you people, Thursday or Friday, depends.
I think Thursday. I think that'd be.
And we got a live stream next Monday, I believe, if I'm correct, 4:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, whatever it's called, Melbourne and Sydney time. Let's just call it that. 4:30 p.m. next Monday, Melbourne and Sydney time. It's a great one. We said we weren't always going to do the big games. Come join us on the live stream when it's there, people, because it's going to be Italy, Scotland. You don't want to miss that game.
No, definitely not. Italy's Well, I think it holds. It's actually a really good one, I think, to start with. Just before we go, Italy's first ever international tournament, but Scotland getting the last minute call up after Bangladesh not wanting to.
Who'd have thought in the last decade now, Italy have qualified for more World Cups with their cricket team than their football team. Who'd have thought?
That's crazy. I didn't even know that. So thank you for pointing that out. But I think that's amazing. But looking forward to that, and we'll obviously bring you guys a full preview on Thursday. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, join us then. Well, Thursday we'll be back with that preview, people. But yeah, that live stream's coming Monday, and we got a couple more in the group stages planned. So stay tuned for those as well as knockout. And we, even though it's 12:30 a.m., we now that me and my partner have our own place, of course, and noise isn't as big an issue. We're really going to see if we can try and live stream that final, because we definitely want to do that if we can. So yeah. But look forward to all that. It's going to be a lot of content in around that World Cup, especially with the live streams and so on. Might mean our regular schedule gets moved around a bit, but we'll still get videos out here and there. Might just be reviews, and we might skip the tea breaks throughout the World Cup because of the complete hectic schedule of doing live streams and stuff like that. But you'll see, guys. But yeah, back to this episode. Hope you enjoyed another week of the Bundesliga and A-League review show. Yeah, peace out, take care, and we'll be back on Thursday with that T20 World Cup preview. So yeah, peace out, take care, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Take care, guys.